Hey everyone, welcome to the third episode of Get Flaked, the talk show. I hope everyone is having a good day so far. Before we begin the show, I'll be playing something from the new For You Remixes EP, which you can listen to by clicking the link in the description. This is Vince's remix of my song For You. So today, for the very first episode of 2020, we have with us one of my favorite producer, Fabian Mazur. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing great, thank you. Good to be here.
Oh, you got a cool name, man. Fabian Mazur is your real name, right?
Yeah, it's my real name. I used to be like braining on different DJ names, and then one of my friends told me like, dude, your name is Fabian Mazur. You should just use your real name, and that I did.
Yeah, that's so cool. So how old are you?
I just turned 29, so I'm getting a little bit old here.
So what's your background, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, of course. So I grew up in Copenhagen, Denmark. My mom is American from New York, and my father is Danish.
Ooh, so your song "Level Up" was the reason I got into listening to hybrid trap, and it's great that I get to have you on this episode. Do you have any routine that you always do before making a track?
So we could talk a lot about routines. I have a lot of routines, like production specific. My routine is usually getting inspiration from somewhere and then having an idea for a track. And then I usually do like phone memos or something to remember the idea when I'm getting it. Then when I go into the studio, I have like a pretty clear vision of how I imagine the song being produced. So for Level Up, I had the idea of the bounce in the drop, like the actual lead pattern, like the bo 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 bo.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just phone memoed that, went into the studio, and got it done.
Amazing. I mean, as someone like me, right? Like it's kind of hard to transfer something I have in mind into production, so I end up making something completely different from what I imagine it to be. But that's great that you always um, get to do that.
Almost always, yeah. It happens to me as well. Like I imagine something and then I do something completely different.
So speaking of routines, I heard you have never went a day without oatmeal before, right? Why is that?
That is very, very true. Look, I could talk for days about this, but I love oatmeal. It is the best thing you can eat. Like it's healthy, it's good for you, keeps you full. It's the best thing, man. I've had it every day for more than 5 years now.
Bro, 5 years you've committed to that. So was it like a must for you to eat the oatmeal, or do you just like coincidentally eat it for more than a few years now?
I would say it's a must, to be honest. Like it's not a coincidence anymore.
Hmm.
In the beginning, I'd say it was a kind of coincidence, but like I grew up eating oatmeal. My mom used to make me like American style oatmeal, and like I grew up on that
Yeah.
stuff. So it's deeply rooted into my DNA to have oatmeal every day.
So, on your Instagram, right? Like, just now I just saw you posting about brownies and all that,
Yeah.
and you always posted videos or photos of you cooking up a meal. Where do you learn how to cook?
So I've always had a passion for food. I think it came from my mom. Like my mom, when I grew up, used to cook a lot of different kitchens, like Indian food, American food, Danish food, Thai food, whatever.
Yeah.
So I've always had a big passion for food, and I think it's just something that I've kept up doing the years because it's very different from producing music because like it's a completely different thing, and it's good to get like your mind off things
Yeah.
sometimes. And I think food is that distraction for me that takes my mind completely off music.
So you would say that apart from music, cooking is something you enjoy spending time on.
Definitely. It's one of my favorite things to do besides being in the studio.
So what about apart from cooking? Like what else do you do?
Um, a lot of different stuff. Like I work out every morning.
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing that for a couple years. It's great to like when you sit down all day in the studio.
Yeah.
It's great to kind of start the day with like running or working out. So that's one of my main things I keep up.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think you would be doing right now if you weren't making music?
Whew, that is a good question. It would probably, to be honest, it would probably be somewhere in the health, food, or fitness regimen.
Ooh.
Um, Probably not like a personal trainer or something, but maybe I don't know, a chef, something. I don't know.
Did that thought ever cross your mind that you'll ever be a music producer or a DJ?
It kind of did because like I grew up with both my parents being full time jazz musicians, so I kind of always knew that I probably would end up in music. Um, so it's from a fairly early age. I probably knew that I was gonna end up in music.
So I know you go through different versions of Fabian Mazur. There's hybrid trap, future bass, and then there's a new style you're gonna pursue. Hence why you stopped having a name under the upcoming release with Snaps, right?
Yeah.
So who inspires each one of that different version of your style?
So for like 2020 and my upcoming stuff, I decided to take a little bit of a turn because
Yeah.
Um, like I've released trap hard electronic stuff for like 5, 6 years now, and I kind of felt like I love doing
Yeah.
it, and I still love doing it, but I couldn't really see any progress in my career. I wasn't getting any shows. I wasn't really taking it anywhere further than some SoundCloud plays, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Like I kind of have a bigger vision for this stuff,
Yeah.
and I grew up on like soulful music, jazz music, R&B, hip hop. So that's kind of the new direction where I want to take my sound. That's also why it would be kind of weird for me to have my names on all these songs that I produced, like with the Snobs project, with the John Casey record, the Bound, with everything.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why I decided to take my name off of it.
Oh, so what made you decide that that style you're going for would suit you?
Um, Honestly, because it's something that I grew up with and something that I love making, and basically something that is closer to my heart than trap and EDM stuff is, to be honest.
So some people say that genre is just a reason not to be creative. Do you agree to that?
Mm, I don't know about that. I mean, I'm a big advocate of not trying to fit everything into a box, like not trying to go for a specific genre, and blend as much as you can.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't really agree with that saying, to be honest, but it might be true a little bit.
If someone told you that you wouldn't make it in this music career, what would you do? And did you experience this before, like when you were younger or when you're just starting out?
Of course I did. Yeah. I remember a lot of my friends telling me like, "Dude, you're probably never gonna have a career with this music stuff. You're just like making
Same.
beats in your
Same.
bedroom." And I did that for many years. And I remember all my friends went to like the university and school and got education, and
Yeah.
I was kind of just messing around with the music. And they told me like, "Dude, what are you actually doing?" And I gotta be honest, I doubted myself for a couple of years there, but then I just went like all in. And then my career escalated from there. It took a lot of years though.
But like, were you ever hurt by that? Like when your friends say that about you?
I guess a little bit, yeah, because like being at the early stage of my career where I wasn't really making any money off of it, it was a bit hurtful to like hear your friends say, "Dude, you might not never get to live off the stuff that you like."
Yeah,
But I persisted, and that's something I advocate everyone do. Like,
definitely.
if you really want this to happen, just give it your all, and if it doesn't work out, then you could probably think about quitting. Even though I'm not an advocate of quitting.
Yeah, that's true. At what age do you start producing?
I would say something like 15 or 16, but it didn't get serious until I was 21, 22-ish.
But what made you become serious about that music thing? Was it something that happened to your song? Did it blew up?
Yeah, so I used to DJ a lot back in the day when I started producing, and I think the thing that made me want to get serious
Yep.
about it was seeing something that I created and produced actually being played out and seeing people's reaction to it.
Mm-hmm.
That really like fueled the fire for me for a couple years. And then I think it was 2012 or 13 when I remixed that YG song called My
Nigga?
and it kind of blew up. Remember DJ Mustard having played it, and
Yeah.
like it got live support and millions of plays. And then from there, I just went all in.
Oh wow. So you said in the beginning that your parents were also in the music industry, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Could you tell us more about what they do?
Of course. So both my mom and dad are jazz musicians, and they have lived off of their career for their entire life. My mom used to play. My mom plays drums and percussion, and she used to play with this jazz legend called Miles Davis back in the '80s.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of fueled her career. So she's a pretty big percussionist because she's also one of the only female percussionists out there.
Wow.
My dad is a bass player. He plays in a lot of my mom's bands as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like he teaches bass, he plays upright bass, and he's basically played for his entire life as well. So they're both like pretty hippie type jazz musicians, I
Ooh.
guess.
So did they have any influence on your music, or was music something that you discovered on your own?
They definitely had a big influence on my music, and especially in this new direction. I actually have, I don't know when this podcast will drop, but I actually have an upcoming video on my YouTube channel where I go to my mom and dad's studio and have, like, I do a collab with them. So I record their
Mm.
instruments and we do a song together.
Ooh, so we're taking a short break right now by playing one of my favorite songs by Fabian Mazur titled Level Up.
You know we about to level up. You know we about to level up. You know we about to level up. You know we about to level up. You know we about to level up. You know we about to level up. You know we about to level up. You know we about to level up.
And we're back from the break. If you enjoyed the song, you can listen to it by clicking the link in the description box. So, Fabian, you're gonna be releasing a Schnauzer EP together with Snaps this 23rd, right?
Yeah, exactly.
How did you and Snaps meet each other? Like, have you always been good friends?
Yeah, we've known each other for like 6 or 7 years now. We've become very good friends because we've done like 15 collabs together.
Wow.
So we met each other over, I think it was Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Because we were kind of like the only guys doing trap music in Copenhagen, or in Denmark actually.
Yep.
And then we just linked up at my old apartment where I had like a tiny studio set up, and we just been working together ever since. So we're very good friends.
Wow. If you could say one thing to your younger self that is just starting out with music, what would it be?
Oh, that's a good question.
Thanks.
I think it would be a couple of things. First of all, I would tell myself to stay in the routine, stay in the structure, stay disciplined, and keep working through everything, even though sometimes you're not
Mm-hmm.
feeling your most creative or motivated, basically. And the
Yeah.
second thing I want to tell myself is to learn music theory and piano earlier in my career, because I never did, even though I had so many options to do it. Like my mom could have taught me piano, but I just wanted to play soccer. So yeah, I probably should have done that.
So, when do you start learning music theory?
Um, Probably when I was. That's a good question, actually. I mean, you always learn something on the go when you're producing, but
Yeah.
I think up until a few years ago, I never really took it that serious. So I probably started a few years ago, to be honest.
How do you think music has changed your life?
Wow, it's that's like the biggest question of all. I guess music has changed my life because, first of all, I'm able to actually make a living off my music, which is
Mm-hmm.
amazing. And I'm grateful for that every day. But music is something that, like, music is everything for me. I grew up on music. Every bowl of oatmeal I ate when I grew up was financed by music, because my
That's a
mom and
great way
dad
to put
earned
it.
their music, like their
Yeah.
income playing music. So music is like life for me. It's everything, and it has always been.
What have you learned from being a musician?
I've learned a lot of things, to be honest. One of the things that probably the most important thing I've learned is that you can't always push creativity. I used to try to stay in the studio like 12 hours every day, just trying to
Mm-hmm.
bang out songs every day, and that's not healthy, to be honest. Like you can't force yourself to be creative.
Yeah.
So that's one of my main takeaways from doing music full time.
Do you have a favorite album or EP?
Of mine or just in general?
In general or yours, so whatever is fine.
Um, I think if I haven't done that many EPs, but like if I pick my own tracks, my favorite track would probably be the one I did with Grace and Chance a few years ago called "Earn It." It's like a pop EDM crossover trap record. Um, that's just for me. It marks a turning point in my career where I was able to bridge different genres and different
Mm-hmm.
sounds. But if I were to pick someone else's album favorite, I'd say, oh, that's hard. Probably all time, it would be maybe some of the old Kanye stuff, like College Dropout or Graduation. Maybe even JC. I grew up on JC, so like Blueprint 2.
Ooh.
Um, Probably some of those. I grew up on a lot of like hip hop music, obviously.
So you make trap and all that, but you listen to those hip hop.
Yeah, exactly.
So do you have a favorite song?
Favorite song, like all time or
All
just
time.
right now?
Yeah, all time favorite.
Oh, that is a tough question. Um, Damn, I don't know actually. It would favorite song all time, probably like, oh, that's tough. Maybe JC, some old JC stuff.
All right, let's make it simpler. How about right now?
Yeah, of course. Um, my favorite song right now. I've been listening to a lot of the new K Tronada album.
Ooh.
Um, Maybe I'd say Vexo or Go DJ is my
Okay.
favorite right now.
So, how do you normally get your inspiration?
Um, I get inspiration from so many places. I like in the morning when I listen to podcasts, when I'm working out, when I'm on the bike going to the studio, when I'm just hanging out with friends, out taking a walk. There's so many different scenarios that gives me inspiration. Like maybe you hear a sound somewhere or you hear another song going through Spotify, SoundCloud, whatever. Um, and I tend to trying to turn that into something concrete, like think when I get inspired, like how do I turn
Yeah.
this into my own song? So I get inspired from many, many different places.
So, what are your plans for the future?
Yeah, so plans for the future. My main thing right now is release music because I haven't released for many months. I want to get some of all this new stuff I'm working on out there. I have so many unreleased tracks right now. I have more than 20. So I'm just planning out the release, and one of the main goals for this year is to get a lot of new sounding stuff out. I want to release at least like 10 tracks this year, something like that.
Stoked for that.
Yeah. And also, one of my main goals this year is to get my sample pack label Elixir on Splice. I want to get it bigger. I want to release more. I want to do bigger projects, bigger sample packs. Yeah.
Maybe you can collaborate with different artists for your sample pack. So it'll be like Fabian Mazur X someone sample pack.
Yeah, I was thinking of that as well. I'm not sure I'm gonna do it because so far I've done every pack myself.
Yeah,
But I might collaborate with someone for sure.
I'll be looking forward to that. So, finally, if you were to have your own label, what do you look for in an artist to be signed under it?
Okay, so if I had my own label and I was looking for artists, the first thing that I would try to notice was uniqueness. Like, is there something unique about this artist in their production or in their sound? Um, and if that
Yeah.
is the case, I would highly consider them for the label. I think to name a label that's really good at that, it's Snobs. He has this Riotville Records label.
Right, Phil. Yeah.
And he's really good at picking like different genres. He releases like hardstyle, pop, trap, basically every genre. But he's really good at picking stuff that's unique and out of the ordinary. I remember
Mm-hmm.
last year he showed me an artist called Cage or K, which is like Kage spelled.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the dude is just like a massive bass house type warehouse producer. And I think Snaps is really good at that with Rivals. So
Yeah.
that's one of the things I would look for if I had a label. Uniqueness.
Take notes, guys. Take notes.
Yeah.
So, well, I hate to say it, but we've come to the end of this interview. So, thank you so much for agreeing to be a part of this, man. Thanks for being the first guest of
Of course,
2020.
dude. Thank you so much for having me, man, and good luck with
Oh,
everything.
it's an honor, man. So, all the best for your future
Thank you so
projects.
much. You too, man.
Thanks.
You
Thank
too.
you, man. Do you have anything to say to people listening to this who are also pursuing music?
Well, yeah. Let's get a few takeaways here. First of all, thank you for listening, and I hope you support everything we do here, both me and
Yep.
you. And also just hang in there, like keep grinding. If you find yourself
Thank you.
unmotivated or not creative, do something else that could benefit your production or your music. Like listen to a podcast about music, learn music theory, go for a walk, do something productive. And just hang in there. It takes a couple years to actually get good at what you do and to find your sound. So yeah, just keep grinding. We'll get there.
That was great. So I'll leave a link for Fabian Mazur if you guys are interested. Do check out his work. It's really worth it. Anyways, I'll talk to you once again soon, man. Hope you have a good day, man.
Thank you, brother. You too. See ya.